It's nice
Howdy,
to see.
howdy.
Nice to see that you guys are both in appropriate work attire. No unauthorized uniforms on the sidelines. I want to see either of you guys get fired.
What's that a reference to?
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
What? You guys haven't heard about the whole Robert Saleh thing and the flag on his sleeve?
Is this the latest distraction so that we won't think that it's Aaron Rodgers that got him fired?
I guess. I don't know.
No.
I saw an article that he had a flag from Lebanon on his sleeve, and
Where'd you read that article?
I swear to
Well,
God,
he is Lebanese, and you know
Yeah,
what I
he's
have
Lebanese.
huh?
Yeah, he's Lebanese.
I swear I saw that article today. It was in my news feed. I clicked on it and it said, "Is this one of the reasons that he could be getting fired?"
No,
Because
I'm not saying.
That's different than saying it's why he was fired.
Yeah.
I didn't say
I'm not
that's
saying
why.
you didn't see the article. I believe you saw the article, but I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the NFL actually has been doing this. A lot of players do it now. They have a flag of their
I was going to
country
say
of
the
origin,
same
like,
thing, Doug.
on
Yep.
their
Yeah.
helmet.
No,
there's one-
is the I brought it up because of how ridiculous it sounds that this is a story. I was looking through headlines and I was thinking that's one of the most ridiculous headlines I've heard this week.
So,
But
Nate, let me ask you, since you've seen it, have you seen more than American flag and one other? I've only seen American and one other. I've never seen like 2, 3, 4, 5 flags. Have you seen more?
No, I think just the two. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you could do like
Yeah.
mom, dad, like tell your whole story or what. Genealogy tree on the back.
I first
Yeah.
noticed it because there was a player, and I don't know if that was this year or maybe last year even. There was a player that had the Philippines flag on his helmet, and Portia pointed it out to me. She's like, "Look at his helmet," and I'd never even noticed it. And I Googled it, and I was like, "Oh, they're allowing them to represent their country. That's pretty cool,
Yeah.
Whatever."
Yeah.
No, I just thought it was kind of
Yeah,
ridiculous.
the first time I saw it was this year in the Jets game over the weekend. I thought maybe it's because they're international overseas, but yeah, they're letting them do it all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Anyways, yeah. That's crazy though that Aaron Rodgers is behind that, right?
The new coach of the Jets?
The
What?
most plausible story that I heard was that Saleh had told a few of his assistant coaches, or maybe told somebody else. I don't know if it was assistant coaches, but he had made it known that he was considering firing or demoting Hackett. And we know that the story was that Saleh didn't want to get rid of his offensive coordinator that he had 2 years ago, and that he was sort of forced into firing him. One of the LaFleur brothers, right? Matt LaFleur's Mike. I think his name's Mike LaFleur. He was forced into letting him go to hire Aaron Rodgers' favorite OC, Hackett. And obviously we've seen what the results of that have been. But he makes it known that he's thinking about demoting him, and bam, they say 5 minutes. They did the timeline. They said 5 minutes after he made that known, he got called into the owner's office and fired.
Woo! That's crazy.
That's how quick it happens, man.
Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah. Any other crazy NFL stories you guys want to get at the top that you could think about? I was looking at headlines right before we came on. That's when it popped. I was looking at different.
You
things.
got any more?
Yeah, give us some.
I saw a funny video about how there's a video of how Andy Dalton, or was it Andy Dalton? No, Joe Flacco was on some podcast or something, and he was talking about how he's the same age as Anthony Richardson's mom. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, he said that in the post-game interview. In the post-game interview, they said something about, wow, you're playing really well. Or, does Anthony Richardson, have you been able to kind of like give him any guidance, or does he look up to? And he goes, well, I'm 5 days older than his mom, so I don't think he thinks I'm cool at all, or something to that effect.
Yeah. Anyways,
Nice.
What I want to know is, why is Joe Flacco going around inquiring about the age of his teammates' moms? Is that like a thing he just asks people?
See, I would think it'd be more the opposite, that Richardson was trying to burn him with it. Oh, you're so fucking old. More that way, probably. I hope, anyways. I hope it's that way.
I like to imagine Joe Flacco just going around being like, "Hey, man, how old's your mom?"
That's like the new your mom joke. How's your mom?
Have you ever seen that viral video from like 5 years ago? Diggs was still on the Vikings, and they somebody in the social media team for the Vikings went around and asked all the players, who's the one player on the team you would not let your sister date? and like to a man, every player on the team was like, Stefan. No, Stefan for sure. Like, he's the one player we would never let our sister date. Fucking hilarious. You got to watch it.
That is funny. So fantasy football, huh? That's what we're here to talk about. Anything?
It's fun. It's a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Sean, big win this week, 215 or something, or is it something huge like that?
Yeah, his team's starting to round
215.02.
Yeah, I mean he's rounding into form. The player that he made that big swing for in the preseason is finally starting to pay off for him, right? The first couple of weeks it didn't. So now he's got Jamar Chase, doing what he traded for him to do.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the guy that traded away Jamar Chase, we won't talk about him. He's not having as much success. But what a week. This week is going to be the real test, right? We got Sean versus Jeff.
Yeah.
It's just too bad Jeff's not coming in at full strength. He's got the injury to Nico Collins, and I believe he's got another injury of note as well.
Yeah, minimum 4 weeks IR for Nico.
Yeah, minimum.
Yep.
And then guess when I play Jeff?
5 weeks from
4
now.
weeks from now.
5 weeks.
Sorry.
Yeah.
5 weeks from now.
Yeah,
Nate, I thought you were trying to block me last night with Daniel Jones when you brought him up. I thought you were going to try and get Steve to pick him up instead of me because you knew I had Andy Dalton had a bye coming up. And then I was like, Nate's not thinking about me. Never mind.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about somebody, but it wasn't you.
Yeah. No, dude, I hate burning my waiver for him, second spot, but after Andy Dalton got benched last week, it's like crap. I can't depend on that. Just as a
Well, let me
bye
ask you a
week.
question. Before I said that in the thread, and I know
already had the
you don't have
waiver
to tell
in.
me, you don't have to tell me you don't do things based on what I say in the thread, but were you considering just waiting to see if you could get them for free?
No, I already had my claim in. Before you even made a comment. I knew that I had to burn it. I didn't want to, but yeah, I had to.
Yeah, so I knew that Alex had a claim in, not just because he told me, but because Alex only has one quarterback who's on a bye. And Alex and I talked last week, and I said, hey, next week, Caleb's got a great matchup. He's playing the number 31 ranked defense. Do you want him? He said, let's see how he plays this week. Caleb obviously had a great week. So the whole time I'm watching that Bears game, I'm thinking, okay, me and Alex have a trade in the works here. And I even went to look to see, before I even talked to Alex this week, who's the top quarterbacks available. Okay, Daniel Jones is sitting right there. He's obviously been doing great. Where's my waiver priority? Oh, I'm right in front of Alex. So I was already going to use my waiver priority on Daniel Jones as well, just to block Alex. But I thought, hey, if I can get somebody ahead of me to do the work for me, let me just send something out there, so I don't have to waste my waiver.
I always say bye weeks. You got to be 2 or 3 weeks ahead on bye weeks. Always. So I'm never the guy trying to pick up a quarterback unless there's an injury the day before I need him. Like there's too much. It's too random. No way.
Yeah.
And Alex wasn't he wasn't trying to josh me or whatever you want to call it, because he did have a claim in. I looked at the full report. He did have a claim in for Jones. The question is what does he do? Because he still doesn't have a quarterback. He didn't get Jones last night. The number one quarterback on waivers is Will Levis.
Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
Hell, that's where I'd go.
First game ever.
What Will Levis doesn't look great. Well, what's a matchup? What's Levis's matchup?
He's playing Indy.
Pretty good defense, home or away.
They're the 30th ranked defense, so that's probably the play for Alex is Will Levis.
I thought they were better against the pass, but okay.
Yeah, I don't think he'll go with Aiden O'Connell, who's the next one down. You make a good point about Spencer Rattler. I think he's shown a lot of promise, especially in college. He looked good, but
home against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's a bad defense.
Maybe, but I stream defense. I play in 2 leagues that have team defense, and I picked up Tampa Bay in both of them. How can you not against a rookie making his first start?
Yeah, makes sense. No, obviously makes sense. You're right, but I don't know. Will Levis hasn't really impressed me.
I bet he goes for a trade. I bet he looks for that trade. But
have you seen Will Levis's numbers?
They're bad.
2.68, 11.48, 11.6, negative 1.5. I'm starting the rookie.
Yeah, because
at least you have an option of him doing better. You know what Levis is going to give you.
Well, Will Levis, I don't know about the 4th game, but I know he had a streak going the first 3 games this year where he just did the most boneheaded turnover that I've ever seen in my entire life, like 3 weeks in a row. Just like, here you go. Here's the ball. Like,
He's
he
been
looks
sacked
bad.
15 times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he looks bad.
Yeah.
But what's Alex going to trade for a quarterback? Because
Yeah.
I know that he's not offering me anything of value.
Yeah, I was
Um,
just gonna look at his team just because I was curious what
well,
he had.
his team's all banged up, and he has everybody's hurt or on a bye. He even has somebody in his starting lineup right now that's not playing this week. He's got Devontae in his starting lineup, and he's told me he would take either Justin Fields or Caleb Williams for me, but he doesn't want to give anything of value for them. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, he might have to try and package something like maybe try and give up Cup, who's might come back from injury at some point. Um,
Might.
well, I'm just saying that might be enticing to somebody, willing to give up as a piece. Um, you
Yeah,
know,
it's enticing to me. I've made offers for Cup, but
he won't go.
he's not biting. Yeah, I
Not
mean,
biting.
he wants his counter offer is he wants my best players, right? So it's like, uh,
Of course.
Wait, didn't we do this last week?
Yeah,
we
we did.
did.
Yeah, we did this last week. Okay, all right.
So wait,
But I want to
just
make one more. I want to
okay.
make one more point about Alex's team, before we move off of him. Um, because he is hurting right now, and because he has no depth, and he's got Devontae in his flex right now, and everybody on his bench is either hurt or on a bye. I'm wondering why the fuck does he have so many IDP players on his bench? Maybe his team would be in a little bit better shape if he didn't have 5 linebackers and 3 DBs, and like he's
Yeah.
carrying so many IDP players that he hasn't left himself any depth whatsoever to cover these buys.
Yeah.
That is
It doesn't make a lot
interesting
of
to
Well,
sense.
there's not a lot of depth out there right now, anyways. But
No, there's not. But that is interesting to see somebody with three
yeah,
defensive
dude,
players on their bench.
like the rule, honestly, I mean, unless they're super superstars, I can carry one defensive guy and a buy on my bench. That's it. There's no way I'm carrying more than one bench defensive guy, and it's got to be because he's on a buy and I love the guy. That'd be it.
Yeah.
Besides
Yeah,
that,
and he's
there's
already
too many
been
guys that score too many points on defense.
Alex has been doing this for a while. He's been carrying multiple linebackers, and who can fault him when he won 2 years back to back and he was doing that strategy? But this year, when he's struggling and he's got all these injuries, I mean, at some point you have to abandon that strategy, right? At some point you have to say, let me take a flyer on some wide receivers, some running backs that might earn a starting job. They're an injury away, but instead he's carrying, Anzalone, Alex Anzalone, Nick Bolton, and Reed Blankenship on his bench, along
All
with
right,
Carson
Alex.
Steele, who at
Alex,
this point is droppable.
Alex, we're just teasing you. You're doing it perfect, dude. We don't want you to change anything. Just, dude, lock it in, brother. Lock it in.
So
All right.
do you guys
What else we got?
do you guys think he's gonna pick somebody up or trade? Let's just end it there. What do you call
Uh,
what do you think on you when you
I
look at
don't.
his team on
There's
Sunday?
nobody out there to pick up that's going to help him win this game. So a trade's the only thing that's going to matter.
All right.
here's my official prediction. On Sunday morning, they're going to announce that Anthony Richardson is going to start over Flacco, and Joe's going to trade Anthony Richardson to Alex and
Oh, little
help his
brother
brother out.
bailout. The brother
A little brother
bailout.
bailout, yeah.
Yeah.
The old brother
The
bailout. We've
old
seen
brother
it
bailout.
before in
Oh
this
yeah.
league.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. My kid's school is calling me. You guys talk for a second.
You don't want to just loop them into the conversation? No? Okay. We could ask him about Alex's team. No? All right.
All right. So Nate, let's look. Where are you sitting right now? What are you at?
I'm 2-3. I finally won a game
2-3.
last week after
2-3.
losing 3 in a row.
Yep. All right.
My team is healthier than it's ever been, with of course the main exception being Christian McCaffrey. Still without.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, I like my squad. I've got some good guys I think can win in any given week. Got a tough matchup against Ben this week. But I give myself a chance at least,
Dude, that underrated division is aptly named. Not a single one of them has a winning record in the underrated division. It's just perfect.
Wouldn't that be overrated?
No, it's not. You're saying it
That was
wrong.
Alex's when I first told Alex, I said, "Hey man, if you don't start winning a game or two, you're gonna fall out of this thing." And his response back to me was, "You're talking the division leader right now." He's leading his division at 2-3.
And he's even not leading it, actually. He's in second place.
Yeah, with the tiebreakers, I guess. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, shit, he's got a point. If he's at 2-3 now, and his players come back healthy, and who knows? But
Yep.
The divisions are all tight, man. The only one that's actually getting a little bit out of control is the Phantasmic division.
No, it's
You got Jeff
not. It's 2 games. It's 2 games.
2 games
2 games ain't
behind
nothing.
a very solid team, right?
Doesn't. I mean, I've been high score. I mean, like 3-2, having a high score. Putting up a lot of points. I think we've only scored like 20 points different on the year. No, I feel good. I mean, I'm right there, and Ryan's right there. I mean, same thing. He's 3-2 in the division. Yeah, Jeff's team looks good. Not taking anything away from him, but he just had a big guy going IR. So, if I can close up one before division games and then play him head to head, yeah, that's all good. No, not worried about that. Not worried
Yeah,
about
you just
that.
better hope you don't fall 2 more games behind and you go into Division 4 back, right? That's
Well, clearly, that would be the opposite of what I'm hoping for. That great predicted, dude. Great, great. Love that. Good shit.
I
Good
was I was
shit.
just I was actually just commenting on how every other division is 1 game back, right? You
Yeah.
got even Bobby, he's sitting at 1-4, but in his division, he's only 1 game back, right? Because the leader is at 2-3. My division, you got two teams at 3-2, 2 teams at 2-3. So everybody
Yeah.
feels like they're in it.
But Bobby.
Well, I mean, I guess Joe would be the furthest back, right? He's 3 out of his division right now.
Yeah, true. Accurate.
Joe looked good
Okay,
last week.
dude. Well, we're waiting for Ben to get back. We had a trade in one of my other dynasty leagues today. It's just like our fucking threads. I missed like 2 hours of texting. There's 400 fucking messages over one trade. These guys swapped third round picks. So an early third round pick for a late third round pick and Tyler Kraft, who's like a top 10 tight end. People were
Tuckercraft.
freaking the fuck, huh?
Tuckercraft, right?
What'd I say?
Tyler.
Yeah, Tucker. Yeah.
So wait, the whole
Thank you.
trade was a third and Tucker for a third?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question. Is this a
People
dynasty
love
startup or this is a season dynasty league?
second year in the league.
Second year. So how do you know it's an early third or a late third when it's only your second year in the league?
Right. Basically, you would be the guy. One guy has like 0 wins this year, and one guy
Okay.
is like second place. So you're right. You don't know for sure. And dude, I'm not saying it's the worst trade ever. I don't love the trade, but dude, these guys lost their fucking minds, dude. Like I said, 400 texts back and forth. It's ridiculous. It's not that bad, right?
Well, I mean, let's think about it. If it plays out the way that it looks right now, and one of them, you said a third round pick?
Yes, they swapped thirds, early and late thirds.
Yeah, one of them. So basically, you're saying I will give you Tucker Kraft for the right to have the 25th pick instead of the 36th pick.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I think you're giving up way too much in that scenario. Now, do I think
Oh,
it's
so you're on the outrage side. Okay.
I'm not outraged.
Oh.
I think he's giving up way too much, but I don't think it's collusion or unless they have reason or cause to believe that it is.
Yeah, you put him in the trade calculator. They said it should have been worth like a mid-second, for that. But I don't know. It's wild to see how passionate people are about this stuff sometimes.
There's a trade that went down in Porsche's work league. Now,
10
keep in
person.
mind, this is a league where Porsche's played a few times, but she's not an expert by any means. And then there's like 2 or 3 guys that play all the time. And then everybody else, they're all just coworkers that are novices. They don't know what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
And a trade went down between one of the novices and one of the guys that plays pretty regularly. And Portia told me the trade last night. She said, this guy just traded CJ Stroud, Kareem Hunt, and I forget who the wide receiver is, but it was a pretty decent wide receiver. CJ Stroud, Kareem Hunt, and a wide receiver. And all he got back was DeAndre Swift.
Ooh.
And I said, that sounds like collusion.
Yeah.
Either that or somebody's
that's
taking
bad.
advantage of somebody, right?
That's bad. That's really bad. Fuck.
Yeah. So she's like, 2 minutes later, she's like, how do you spell collusion? She's in her chat message.
Oh, man. Dude, so yeah, in the Gilly League, I overspent by a bit today.
Saw that.
I forgot to go back and change. And when you guys texted it, I was so upset that none of you reminded me about waivers. I've been helping you guys all out for 4 weeks, reminding everybody because they're at weird times on Wednesdays.
First of all,
dude,
you can get right the fuck out of here with that shit. Because
I know.
Number one, we don't want the reminders. And number two, it's not like you forgot to put in your claims. You put in your claim. What do you need a reminder for?
No, so I put it in last night, and my thought was, hey, I always do it Wednesday afternoon. But I'm like, hey, I'll put it in case I forget. God forbid I fucking forgot. Weird. And I just put something high going, okay, they're not going to get him cheap. And I put him in for like, Gibbs or like 300 or something. So they were my, if you forget, you're going to make people pay for him. But yeah, I just forgot to go back and lower that one.
We're talking about Achan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Devon Achan, you got him for $200. The next highest bid, tell the audience, $1.
Oh, okay.
So you could have had him for $2, right?
No, I know. Yeah.
Why do you think that is that nobody put in a bid for Achan? Is it just because of the concussion?
I guess so. I mean, I got Mostert, so I was like, okay, dude, I've got that backfield locked up, and I don't even need running backs. I'm pretty much set at running back.
Wait, can you
but
see the? Can you see the? I'm back, by the way. Sorry.
Hi, Ben.
My teacher, dude. Our student teacher conference was supposed to be later this afternoon. She had an earlier slot, so she called to see if she could get us in.
So did you do it just over the phone?
Did it over the phone. Knocked it out real quick.
Dude, multitasking.
Yeah.
You should have done it live on air though.
No.
Which kid?
Is there a report? Because I swear I put a bid in for HN.
How much? Do you want him for 201?
I thought I put it in for $5 because that was my most I could bid, but maybe I didn't.
You definitely didn't do that because it says here the next highest bid was $1.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay. Was it me?
Yep, no, just forgot to lower my bid. I'm all right though. I'm all right.
I was down to $25 in one of the 2 leagues that I play in on the Gilly, and so I put like 9 bids in, but they were all just $1 bids. So I knew, okay, if I get even one of these guys, which I did, I ended up getting for $1. I got Jacoby Myers, and I also have Devontae Adams on that team, so that's great. Devontae's not playing this week. Jacoby's going to go right in my starting lineup. I got him for $1. In the other league, I had like $957, and I saw that what's his name, Jahmyr Gibbs was available, and I just said, you know what, $457, let's do it. These kind of players don't come around very often.
Yep.
I got him, and I was happy to see that the next highest bid was 404. So, I overpaid by a smidge, but I got the player I wanted.
I didn't think my $5 Gibbs bid was going to make it, but I thought I'd throw it out there. I only had $5 left, so. But I did get my my Zach Ertz bid.
Nice.
So
nice.
at least I had to cover Cody Parkinson. He's on.
What'd you pay for Zach Ertz? $5?
No, $1, I think.
$1.
Okay.
So
now you have $4 left.
Now I have $4 left for nobody.
You're gonna get a stud if you hang out like 4 more weeks. You'll get a stud for $1. You watch.
If I can hang out for 4 more weeks, I'm gonna be very impressed because I've been at the bottom in the last 2 weeks. So I'll be I'm just barely hanging on right now.
All right, if we get down to, I would love to make this a league where we could trade between do trades, but just people have 2 teams, so you can't do it. You couldn't trade with yourself, but it'd be fun now to trade a little bit.
Yeah, well, I don't like the trades, and I'll tell you why. Because part of the strategy of a Gilly is that you have to manage your fab and fill out a roster through these buys, and our teams start out pretty thin. If all of a sudden you start introducing trades, that's just like a bailout. Like there's no, you don't really have to put the thought into the fab because you could just make the trade and get the player.
If somebody will trade with you, sure, that makes sense. But I mean,
now if we could trade fab,
I'm in. Let's do it.
Well, wouldn't that be just like buying players in a sense? I'll give you $5.
Yeah,
give me, just buy your way out of your troubles.
Hell yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
An interesting thought.
Yeah.
I liked how after last week's podcast, it sparked a little bit of a conversation in the thread about rule changes. Joe introduced a couple of thoughts that he had about IDP, which I'd still like to kind of flesh out a little bit more. But in the thread, all of a sudden, people were watching the pod and they had all these ideas. Well, what if we did this? And what if we did that? I love that idea. In fact, I was going to say, one thing we should do is I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on what your number 1 rule change would be if you had let's say you didn't have to put it to a vote. Number 1 rule change that you would put together right away and just slide through. And I think when we have guests on the pod, it would be interesting to ask them, what their number 1 rule change would be, and make that kind of like a running theme and keep these things going. So at the end of the year, maybe the most popular ones we put up for a vote.
Interesting.
Ben, what do you got?
Oh, dude. I'm not ready for this question. My whole thing was waiver wire. That was my big thing a couple weeks ago. And that got addressed. So that
got
was
passed.
It got passed. And then sent through early, and then everybody freaked out, and then it got put back through, and I seen everybody picking up all these like random players, like the players that I like. Why are you picking up this person? Like I don't understand. Like why would you ever pick him up? But whatever.
I
It is
just
what
kept
it is.
picking guys up in Empire, and my team never got full. I'm like, I'm missing that many guys. Holy shit, dude! I put like 3 or 4 guys. I just kept doing it until it told me to stop. I'm like, fuck.
Last night was wild because I'm usually up till when the waivers clear at like 10:30, 10:40. I'm usually
Yeah.
up to try and grab somebody in the main league. But while I'm looking at the main league to see who I want to pick up, my phone keeps going off, and I'm like, stop picking up people in Dynasty. I'm not there yet. Like,
Yeah. People were going
some of the
crazy.
guys I wanted in Dynasty, they got stolen, because I'm over here in the main league focusing on that. So
Yeah.
All right, 2 rule changes. The first one you guys will never do, and I've always wanted it. I don't know how it's possible. I want to add coaches to our teams. Shut up! I know y'all hate it. I want coaches.
I just
But
don't
the
get
one
it.
that
I don't get it. Like wins, losses.
yeah, wins, losses, ties. I mean, I don't know. Call a
Is
bad
that it?
timeout. I don't
Wins,
know.
losses,
just 1 point.
ties.
You get 1 point for a win.
Let's do it just like football. Let's make up fake points: 7 for a win, 0 for a loss. Imagine if football just got 1 point for every touchdown. Scores would be 6-2. Like
Yeah.
just arbitrary.
Football
7
scores.
points.
Not to push back on your thought process there, Matt, but that's not even an available option.
I
Like,
know,
no,
dude.
no site even carries that.
I've just been saying it for years, dude. I'm just going with it. Okay, the one that I'd really do is Fab. I just think Fab's the way we need to go. Yep.
Okay. I mean, I can see the pros and cons. I see the advantages. I've always found Fab to be a little bit frustrating, but I also see the strategy behind it. And I feel like if we had it in our main league, I would put more thought and focus into getting good at it, right?
Yep. Yep.
So, because I
This
always
coming
want the
from
edge.
somebody who just overspent in a guillotine by $200. So
Yeah.
I get it. You can mess it up for sure.
You
Ben,
just
do you
don't
think
like
of any?
you just don't like the waiver priority situation. Is that why you want to go?
I just think
Fab?
Fab's fun. Now that I've done it in other leagues, I just think it's fun. You can get any guy you want at any time, as long as you
just
do your stuff correctly.
spend
plan
the
correct.
money. Got it.
Yeah.
Well, I've got 2 as well.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll give Ben more time to think. One of them I mentioned on the pod, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, and it only came up again because I saw that it is actually an available option in our CBS leagues. It's something we could do. I don't think it'll ever pass, but awarding a win for having one of the top 6 scores of the week and then a loss for having the bottom 6. If not in the main league, I would at least like to test it out in one of the dynasty leagues or one of the side leagues that we do. I'll put it there. That's one of them. And then the other one is something that we've never talked about in the main league, but I just was thinking about it the other day because I was looking at some people's rosters, and there are a lot of good players with potential in the practice squads, including mine. I've got Tyrone Tracy in my practice squad who's projected for like 13 points this week if Singletary's out. And I know we used to have the rule in the Dynasty League where you could poach players off of people's practice squads, and it was fun for a couple of years because we had that restriction that you could only carry 3 quarterbacks. So when you went to go poach somebody's quarterback, they knew that like, oh, I can't even carry a 4th quarterback, so I have no choice but to. And then there was a lot of bidding and back and forth, and it was a lot of fun. You guys remember?
Yep.
It's not as much fun since we changed the quarterback rule in Dynasty, and I think part of the reason for that is because our Dynasty benches are so deep that if you go to poach a player, he just goes, well, fuck it, I'll just drop this guy off my bench and put him there, right? So it's not fun anymore. But in the main league, if our benches aren't as deep, now it's significant. Now he's got to drop somebody from his bench or work with you on the player you're trying to poach from his practice squad. And there's the added significance that this is a potential keeper for him. So maybe he doesn't have the room to carry a 5th running back right now because he doesn't want to drop any of his 5 running backs. But he wants to keep this guy or have the potential to keep him next year. Now it puts him to the test. Poaching in the main league, practice squad, I would do that rule.
Those benches are small, man.
Yeah.
It's tough. That is tough.
I don't like the idea that somebody else can affect your like just like I was smart enough to say hypothetically I was smart enough to draft or pick up Michael Penix Jr., right? I did, but why should you be able to then like affect that by challenging or trying to get him from me and then forcing me into this situation where now I was the smart one who picked him up to keep him, and I like, why do I now have to be challenged on this?
You said this a couple weeks in a row, Ben, about drafts. Just because you got him doesn't mean you're smarter than anybody else. Just means they felt you at the right time. Somebody else wanted somebody else.
Matt
Like,
hates when people say smart.
No, no, no,
You're not
no.
smart, Ben.
It
Don't
doesn't.
ever
It
say
just
you're
means you get the
smart.
opportunity at the right time. It doesn't mean that, oh my God, I saw his value and nobody else did. Everybody could have seen his value, but it didn't. He was valued at 20th pick. You picked him at 20th pick. Perfect. It doesn't mean you're smarter. And I'm not trying to insult you, brother. I'm just saying it doesn't mean that we all wanted the same guy.
Did
He
you
just
all
told you at the
did
right
you all
location.
bid for them?
Huh?
Did you all make a bid for them?
I don't remember.
Well, no, it was in the rookie draft, but we're getting off track. I think
Yeah.
Ben brings up a valid point that if there's a rule that says draft this rookie and then you can keep him through his rookie contract, that he doesn't like the idea that somebody else can come take him. But that's
Yeah.
also how the NFL works. The NFL works in such a way that you take rookies in the draft and they either make your squad, or if they're not good enough for your squad, you put them on the practice squad.
Yeah.
Right. And if you put him on the practice squad, any other team in the league can come poach him off your practice squad. That's how it works. And so it is how the NFL works, and we've seen evidence of it being fun in previous leagues. It creates a lot of chatter, controversy. People are trying to outbid each other. I just think it adds an element that I think would be interesting.
I think I'm over here trying to just be comfortable in my own little thing over here, and you're trying to come in and poke at me and make me like react and get involved in everything. And what if I just want to be? What if I just want to be all by myself over here in my little safe place?
An isolationist owner. I like it.
Well, let me give you an example. And I don't mean to bring up my team again, but just because this is the one I look at the most often. We have a rule that says you can only carry X number of running backs, right? And the most you can have is you can have 3 on your bench, right?
Yeah.
My whole practice squad is running backs: Ray Davis, Tyrone Tracy, Jalen Wright. Well, Tyrone Tracy got the starting nod last week, ran for 140 some odd yards, right? So all of a sudden now he has value. Jalen Wright,
this whole thing's just a
starting
commercial
running back for Miami. Running back for Miami just got a concussion. And then Buffalo, they're just reporting this morning that James Cook has turf toe. He might be out for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
So another team could look at my squad and go, well, he can't afford to keep all those guys on his bench. I'm going to come poach one of those guys from him. And I'm locked. I have nothing I can do about it. My options are limited at that point. I have to give one of them up. But then it creates a bidding war. I'm not giving them up for cheap because Matt sees the value in it, but maybe Ben comes in and says, well, I'm not going to let Matt get him for cheap. I'm going to get him for more. Right. And so I just think it creates more fun in the league.
Can I be honest? I thought we could still do that this year in the main league. I thought people. I was just like thinking, whoo, nobody's come after my players all season long. It's so funny.
How about since there's such small benches and you can't just move people up, maybe the guy coming to take your bench player or your practice squad player has to pay like 10% tax on his value next year. Something to make it, if he really wants him, he's going to have to pay a little bit. So that may, penalize it a little bit.
Do they get the keeper value if they steal them from you?
Oh, you'd have to.
It's not a rule yet, but I would say that.
Was it a rule? Was it a rule in the past?
Well, no,
it wasn't keeper.
Well, yeah, because it was a keeper. It was a dynasty league. So if they took them off your practice squad, they were on their dynasty team.
Yeah.
Currently, though, if you trade somebody from your practice squad mid-season to another team, they don't get to keep them. Right.
Got it.
So if we were going to have poaching involved, then there would have to be some rule that that they could keep them. But I like your idea of maybe a penalty, and maybe that penalty goes to the team that traded him, right? Like the 10%. If next year he's valued at $30, then you have to give $3 to the team that you took him from.
We do snake rookie draft, right? Or
yeah, but
linear.
These players are going to be in the auction next year.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Interesting.
Yep.
Just an interesting wrinkle. And by the way, Ben, I don't think anybody's coming after your Michael Penix, Jalen McMillan.
Hey, why are you going to attack
he was the only guy smart enough to draft him.
Why are you going to attack my practice squad? I remember somebody being very
said, nobody's come after them yet. Yeah, there's a reason.
Nobody's going to come out. Nobody else is coming after Michael Penix Jr. I have Kirk Cousins. That was the reason I took. You know what I mean? So I have his backup. You know how that works.
No, it's because he's smarter than everybody else. Yeah.
I am smarter than everybody else. Come on. All right. What do we got? 5 minutes left of this bullshit?
We haven't heard your rules yet.
I don't have any rules. I was put on the spot. I don't think about this league every single second of the day like you guys do.
Banned.
No, I don't.
Banned.
So I don't know. I mean I think I don't know. I don't know. I can tell you I don't like the idea of adding more players. like Joe was talking about last week about adding more IDP and all that stuff. I think we're happy. We're in a good little spot. I mean, what do we want? Like our scores to be like 250 points, and
Some of us are getting there.
Oh yeah, yeah. One good
Okay,
week. He had one
listen.
good week, and he's over here talking shit.
30-second pitch, not for our league, another league. I may have told you guys about this, but I always thought it'd be fun. 12-man league, basically all the same rules, but within your 4-man division, you guys can rearrange your players every week to beat your opponents. So it's a team, but you still play individual games. So you can trade within your division. I always thought it'd be a fucking weird way, fun way to play. But
I don't play well with others.
that's not true.
That's very
You
true.
keep us all together. You're the fucking commissioner, dog. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but I don't want to give them credit for any of my successes, is what I'm saying.
I can see that. Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
The amount of drama in this league too.
Right? That's what I'm
Jeez.
talking about, dude. That would be fucking, could be a lot of fun.
Jeez.
Could be a lot of
Holy
fun.
moly.
Yeah, so before we sign off today, we should probably talk about Brees Hall being on the block.
Yeah, was that a reel on the block, or was that
I believe it is.
yeah,
I believe it is because I actually have a trade in my trade desk that came in during this podcast.
from him?
And I know of at least one other degenerate that's received a pretty juicy offer as well. And you know what? I don't mean to. I mean, in this league, it doesn't matter because people can come and counter offer anyways. So I don't, whatever I say doesn't really matter. But Ryan seems to have soured on Brees Hall, and it seems that he's trying to sell him pennies on the dollar.
I do not understand. They just had a coaching change. He said, lock arms, us against the world. They're going to run that rock. They're going to give him the ball. They're going to slam him. Like, keep him one more week. See what the new coaching staff is going to do, or the new head coach. There's no way I would trade him right before could be a big positive change. Doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah, and I know that Ryan already knows this because I sent it to him, but Brees Hall's playing the number 32 ranked run defense this week. So why would you trade him right before that?
Yeah.
And it's not like he's had a horrible year. He's had 2 bad games. 2 bad games.
Yep.
Is
the Jets look horrible.
Is Ryan losing?
No,
Ryan's one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, so I don't understand. He's just trying to be proactive. He thinks he's smarter than.
Go ahead and accept the trade, Nate. Let's get this started. Let's get the counters going.
I'd like to look at.
Accept.
No, yeah.
The trade offer he's making to me isn't nearly as good as the one that he made to somebody else. In fact, I heard the details of that one, and that one, it's in my opinion, it's lopsided enough that there's going to be whole new accusations about collusion.
Smash that button, whoever that is. Smash that shit. Woo!
That's what I said. I gave the same advice.
Yeah.
But
Oh, let's do that. That's fun. That sounds fun.
I came in and I told Ryan, hey, before you trade this guy, why don't you give me an opportunity? And he told me what he'd be interested in. And I said, okay, I might do this, I might do that. But this morning I texted him and I said, I'm out on Tank because Nico's going to be out for 4 weeks. I don't think I want to trade Tank right now. But the one he just sent me includes Tank. So obviously, he's standing firm on what
would be the trade that does do.
Yeah, what would it have to be?
What would it have to be?
For me?
Yeah, to get the trade done, what would it have to have on it?
You got like 20 seconds.
Well, no, I mean the offer that I sent to him, you said we have how many seconds?
20.
Oh, okay. So the offer that I sent to him, it included a different player other than Tank Dell. It included a different wide receiver. But that's not the main piece of the trade. There was a main piece of the trade that I think really it's really hard to fucking stretch things out longer than 20 seconds. Hey, telling you guys shit. Fuck off.